From iHeartRadio, this is Medical Monday, presented by St. Dominic's. I'm Randy Bell, and I'm joined today by Dr. Robert Besinger from St. Dominic's, and we're going to be talking about the flu. A lot of Mississippians have gotten the bug this season. According to the CDC, it looks like the cases in Mississippi may have peaked just before Christmas, and the numbers have been coming down some. But, Dr. Besinger, are you still seeing a lot of flu patients there at St. Dominic's?
Yes, sir. There's still flu in the community for sure. But like you said, I think hopefully in the next 6 weeks, hopefully it'll be kind of trailing off. Most seasons you can track it pretty well with the school session, and you'll have a little bit of a dip after the Christmas break. And then after spring break, usually it really starts to trail off. So hopefully we're on the tail end of it.
So how effective has this season's flu vaccine been?
The flu vaccine most years is going to cut down on illness somewhere between 40 and 60%. So hopefully it's still going to be somewhere in that range. A lot of the final data is not complete yet, obviously, for this season. But as far as decreasing the severity of illness, the flu vaccine is very good almost every year. And if you're going to have a serious illness in a child with the flu, it's almost always in an unvaccinated individual. Some data from last flu season, somewhere between 80 and 90% of the deaths in children were in unvaccinated individuals. So we really encourage vaccination, whether it be flu, COVID, or even we got new RSV shots, and those are going to be kind of your big three as far as viral respiratory illnesses with children. Those vaccinations are all very good at decreasing the severity of illness when you do contract those.
We know that timing in getting a flu shot is crucial, because if you wait until the flu is really going around heavily in your community, you may not have enough time to build up proper immunity.
Yes, sir. It usually takes a couple weeks to get good immunity from the flu vaccine and other vaccines as well. You could still get a flu shot now. It's not too late to get a flu vaccine, even if it's late in the season.
And I think you would agree that we should all do more than just get a flu shot. For example, avoiding people who are obviously sick, washing our hands, doing all the things that many of us did during the COVID pandemic are also good ways to avoid the flu.
You're exactly right. This is with flu, and I say these three together a lot, because if you've fallen ill in the last few months, you've gotten checked for flu, COVID, and RSV very often. And you're exactly right. It's going to be a multi-pronged approach when dealing with flu, just like with COVID and RSV. These things are spread primarily through the respiratory route, whether it be droplets or aerosols in the air. So things like masking when you're indoors in a poorly ventilated place. And of course, I really think hopefully in the next few years, we all start thinking about kind of re-upping our commitment to the schools and the daycares as far as their air filtration systems and the ventilation that we have in those places. Just 10 years ago, I saw, when I was preparing to talk to you today, there was a study on the EPA website that our schools are on average built around 1959. So about 65-year-old buildings for the main school buildings. And just you start thinking about that as far as those air filtration ventilation systems, there's probably some room for improvement in those areas too. Because a lot of times, you're going to see these spread more frequently when it's colder and when people are clustered together indoors. So cleaning the air, hopefully, is something we start focusing on in the next few years. We've done a pretty good job cleaning the water and, of course, encouraging people to wash their hands well with soap and water for 20 to 30 seconds when you're washing your hands. But, as far as focusing on the air, I don't know if we've done a great job of that yet. But, HEPA filtration systems and that kind of stuff could obviously help us with some of that too. So as far as on a personal level, there's portable HEPA filters that people can have, in their schools or daycares if they're able to do that on their own. But as far as a system-wide approach, it would be really good, I think, for our communities and our state and our country if we kind of focused on the air a little bit more, especially with these things that we know are spread predominantly through the air. That was a long way to say it is a multi-pronged approach that we would take with decreasing the amount of flu that is in our communities for sure.
That's Dr. Robert Besinger, and I'm Randy Bell. Medical Monday is presented by St. Dominic's.